Below is a scene summary rather than the exact script to avoid copyright issues. It describes how Ip Man defeats Cheung Tin-chi, often referred to simply as Cheung in some summaries, using the iconic one-inch punch in Ip Man three-scene context setting. The film takes place in 1950s, Hong Kong. Tensions arise between Ip Man, Donnie Yen, and Cheung Tin-chi, Zhang Jin, another Wing Chun practitioner seeking recognition. Throughout the movie, they clash over principles, skill, and personal honor, lead up to the fight. Cheung Tin-chi has been trying to prove that his style of Wing Chun is superior to Ip Man's. Their rivalry escalates after a series of confrontations, culminating in a final duel to determine who truly represents the spirit of Wing Chun. The Duel 1. Location. The fight occurs in a private setting, a makeshift ring, or a cleared area where they agree to settle their differences in a formal manner too. Opening exchanges. Ip Man and Cheung begin by testing each other's Wing Chun techniques. Both demonstrate lightning-fast hand movements, blocks, and strikes, reflecting their mastery of the same core style. Cheung shows aggression, attacking swiftly to overwhelm Ip Man. Ip Man, however, remains calm and measured, countering Cheung's strikes. 3. Shift in momentum. As the duel continues, Cheung gains a momentary advantage through sheer force and speed. Ip Man, understanding Cheung's tactics, adjusts his strategy to rely more on deflections and precise counters rather than matching force with force. The one-inch punch. Set up. Eventually, Ip Man spots an opening in Cheung's defense. In Wing Chun, close-quarters combat is critical. Ip Man maneuvers to position himself at the perfect range for the one-inch punch, an explosive strike delivered from minimal distance. Execution of the one-inch punch. Ip Man concentrates his energy, keeping his fist near Cheung's chest with just an inch or two of space. With a sudden burst of power, he drives his arm forward, transferring force into Cheung's torso. Cheung, unable to brace himself in time, is sent backward by the shock of the blow. This is a defining move in many Ip Man films, showcasing the essence of Wing Chun's short-range power. Aftermath. The impact disorients Cheung, demonstrating Ip Man's superior technique. Although Cheung has proven himself a formidable opponent, the duel ends with Ip Man's victory. Ip Man shows respect toward Cheung, reflecting the philosophy of martial arts. Skill must be paired with honor and humility. Key themes and takeaways. Respect in martial arts. Even after a fierce duel, Ip Man never gloats. His victory is tempered by humility and a desire to maintain Wing Chun's integrity. Wing Chun philosophy. The fight emphasizes the style's efficiency and the idea that technique and precision can overcome raw aggression. Character growth. Cheung's defeat isn't merely about losing a fight. It's also about realizing that martial arts should be guided by respect and responsibility, not just personal ambition. This summary captures this essence of how Ip Man defeats Cheung Tin-chi in Ip Man 3Ts using the one-inch punch, without quoting the movie's copyrighted script. Below is a long-form, narrative-style retelling of the climactic fight in Ip Man 3, where Ip Man delivers the iconic one-inch punch. This is not a teaching you the verbatim script, but rather a detailed summary that captures the spirit, events, and emotional core of the scene. Setting the stage: Hong Kong, late 1950s. The city is buzzing with new construction, crowded streets, and the aroma of street food stalls lining narrow roads. Western influences mingle with traditional Chinese culture, creating a dynamic backdrop for a martial arts showdown. Amid the bustle, Ip Man, now a respected master of Wing Chun, strives to live a humble life. He teaches students in a modest rooftop space and takes care of his family, always seeking balance between daily responsibilities and his deep-rooted martial arts values. Meanwhile, Cheung Tinchi, sometimes referred to simply as Cheung or Chun in certain summaries, has been honing his own Wing Chun skills. Ambitious, talented, and hungry for recognition, he believes he can surpass Ip Man's reputation. Cheung has witnessed Ip Man's fame skyrocket, from defeating local bullies to facing powerful foreign fighters. In his eyes, Ip Man is not just a teacher, he's a living legend. And Cheung wants that status for himself. Rising tension. Their paths cross multiple times. Initially, they share a mutual respect as fellow Wing Chun practitioners. Cheung even demonstrates goodwill by helping Ip Man's family at one point. But underlying differences soon emerge. Philosophical divide. Ip Man views martial arts as a path to personal betterment and moral integrity. Cheung believes martial arts should be used to establish dominance and secure prosperity. He believes that beating high-profile opponents will catapult him to fame. Rumors swirl that Cheung has challenged Ip Man's students, criticizing their soft approach and claiming his version of Wing Chun is purer and stronger. Family pressures. Ip Man's wife is ill, and he is torn between caring for her and defending his school's honor. Cheung feels overshadowed by Ip Man's celebrity, growing frustrated that he can't step out of the older master's shadow. Their tensions escalate through small confrontations and a few near duels that get interrupted. Eventually, the two men agree to a formal match, an opportunity to test whose Wing Chun truly stands on top. The duel begins under subdued lights in a private venue. Often depicted as a warehouse-like setting or a cleared space away from prying eyes, a makeshift ring is formed. The atmosphere is charged. A few close students watch from the sidelines, hearts pounding in anticipation. Cheung Tinchi stands with his arms at the ready, body coiled like a spring. His eyes burn with a fierce desire to prove himself. Ip Man stands calmly, wearing his traditional kung fu attire. He breathes steadily, maintaining composure despite the swirl of tension in the air. A single bell or a subtle signal starts the fight. Immediately, the two Wing Chun practitioners launch into a lightning-fast exchange of hands. Initial testing. They probe each other's defenses, palm strikes, chain punches, and low kicks, each blocked or deflected with precision. Both men demonstrate the close-quarters efficiency of Wing Chun, barely stepping more than a foot away from one another. Second, technical brilliance. Ip Man's style is crisp and fluid. He waits for Cheung's openings, using minimal force to redirect Cheung's attacks. Cheung displays explosive power and speed, hoping to overwhelm Ip Man with rapid-fire strikes. He tries to force Ip Man onto the defensive, but the Grandmaster remains poised. Cheung's momentary advantage. Midway through the bout, Cheung capitalizes on a fleeting gap in Ip Man's defenses, a flurry of attacks. Cheung transitions from low to high strikes in rapid succession, momentarily putting Ip Man on the back foot. A strong push. Cheung lands a forceful shove to Ip Man's chest, causing him to stagger back a couple of steps, an unusual sight for those who have watched Ip Man fight. Crowd reaction. Ip Man's students and onlookers gasp. Could Cheung actually overpower the legendary master? Ip Man steadies himself, exhaling slowly. Rather than meeting brute force with brute force, he adapts. His eyes narrow, focusing on Cheung's stance. The tide turn, now the duel's momentum shifts. Reading Cheung's intent. Ip Man notices Cheung tends to overcommit, leaning his torso forward when delivering certain strikes. He also observes Cheung's eagerness to press the advantage, leaving slight gaps in his own defense. Precision over power. As Cheung unleashes another flurry, Ip Man deftly parries and attraps Cheung's arms, controlling the close-quarter angles. Cheung grows more frustrated. He intensifies his assault, hoping to break Ip Man's calm, positioning for the one-inch punch. During a clinch-like exchange, Ip Man shifts his stance, bringing his lead arm in line with Cheung's center of gravity. His fist hovers just a few inches from Cheung's chest. This is the moment Ip Man has been waiting for. The one-inch punch in Wing Chun law, the one-inch punch, exemplifies the art's core principle: maximum impact from minimal distance. Here's how Ip Man executes it in one. Concentration of energy. Ip Man centers his weight, planting his feet firmly. He tenses his core and channels the momentum from his legs, torso, and arm into a short, explosive burst. Lightning quick strike. With seemingly no wind-up, Ip Man's fist snaps forward from only an inch or two away. The punch lands squarely on Cheung's chest, releasing a shockwave of force that Cheung is unable to brace against. Cheung's reaction. Cheung's eyes widen in surprise. He stumbles backward, propelled by the impact, as though struck by a far larger blow. The air leaves his lungs in a gasp, and he collapses to his knees or topples over, momentarily dazed. Aftermath of the duel silence falls over the room. Cheung, panting and clearly shaken, realizes he has been decisively beaten. Ip Man stands a short distance away, fists lowered, his face calm, yet tinged with empathy. There is no gloating, no triumphal roar, only the respectful bearing of a true martial artist. Recognition of defeat. Cheung gazes up at Ip Man, a mixture of awe, frustration, and newfound respect in his eyes. He knows that he has been outmatched not only in skill, but in the humility and composure that underpins true martial arts mastery. A gesture of respect. Ip Man extends a hand or offers a slight bow, acknowledging Cheung's talent and effort. Cheung, though humbled, accepts the gesture. In that moment, he sees that Ip Man's victory is about more than winning a fight. It's about demonstrating Wing Chun's core values of discipline, harmony, and responsibility. Philosophical conclusion. The crowd breathes a collective sigh of relief. Ip Man's students cheer quietly, grateful their master remains undefeated. Cheung leaves with a deeper understanding of what it truly means to carry the Wing Chun legacy and how raw ambition alone cannot surpass genuine skill honed by integrity. Themes and reflections: humility versus ambition. The final duel underscores how humility, patience, and dedication to moral principles ultimately triumph over sheer ambition and brute force. Mastery of Wing Chun. The one-inch punch is a hallmark of Wing Chun's close-range efficiency, illustrating how subtle techniques can generate surprising power. Respect and growth. Even after defeating Cheung, Ip Man doesn't humiliate him. Instead, he demonstrates that a true master uplifts the art form and maintains respect for worthy opponents. Balance in life. Throughout Ip Man 3 year, Ip Man is torn between family duties and his reputation as a grandmaster. His victory reminds viewers that martial arts isn't just about physical prowess, but also about balancing one's personal life and moral obligations. Conclusion in Ip Man 3. The showdown between Ip Man and Cheung Tin-chi reaches its pinnacle when Ip Man delivers the one-inch punch, a move that perfectly encapsulates the essence of Wing Chun: power, precision, and restraint. It ends the rivalry not with scorn, but with a silent lesson in humility, marking one of the film's most memorable moments. By defeating Cheung in such a concise and devastating manner, Ip Man reaffirms his standing as a grandmaster and, more importantly, as a paragon of Yun martial virtue. This final exchange captures the heart of the Ip Man series, demonstrating that martial arts is not merely about winning fights, but about respect, honor, and the pursuit of excellence in all aspects of life. Below is an even more detailed, story-like summary of the pivotal Ip Man vs. Cheung Tin Chi confrontation in Ip Man 3. Focusing on additional background, character motivations, and the emotional undercurrents leading to the iconic one-inch punch. This is still a narrative summary, not a verbatim script, to respect copyright. Extended narrative: Ip Man vs. Cheung Tin 1. Background and tensions in Hong Kong in late 1950s. Hong Kong, the city is evolving at breakneck speed. Western influences, ranging from boxing gyms to foreign businessmen, are colliding with traditional Chinese culture. In the midst of this dynamic environment, Ip Man strives to live a peaceful life, running a modest Wing Chun school and caring for his ailing wife, Cheung Wing Sing. His goal is to spread Wing Chun's core values: discipline, humility, respect, rather than chasing fame. Across town, Cheung Tin Chi, sometimes spelled Chun in certain discussions, is also a Wing Chun practitioner. Unlike Ip Man, Cheung is hungry for recognition and financial stability. He's a single father who wants to give his son a better future, but he's grown resentful of Ip Man's reputation overshadowing him. Cheung believes he's equally skilled, perhaps even superior, and he wants to prove it to the martial arts community. Clashing philosophies early in the film, Cheung and Ip Man have a few brief encounters. Respectful beginnings. They initially exchange pleasantries and even help each other. Cheung once aids Ip Man's son in a minor incident, hinting that they share a certain mutual respect as fellow Wing Chun stylists. Growing rivalry. However, Cheung becomes involved with shady promoters who organize underground fights. Cheung sees these matches as a way to earn money and make a name for himself quickly. Ip Man disapproves of turning Wing Chun into a spectacle for profit, believing it should remain a disciplined art, not a brawl for entertainment pressure on Ip Man. At the same time, Ip Man faces challenges from local gangsters, one of them portrayed by Mike Tyson, who threaten the school where his son studies. He's also torn between protecting the community and spending precious time with his ill wife. These tensions culminate in Cheung openly challenging Ip Man's authority. The martial arts circles in Hong Kong begin whispering, "Who is the true master of Wing Chun?" 3. A formal challenge. Unable to ignore the growing discord, Ip Man eventually accepts Cheung's formal challenge. By now, both men's reputations are on the line. Cheung's motivation. He's convinced that defeating Ip Man will validate his claim as the rightful heir to Wing Chun's legacy. He wants the world to see that he's not just a secondary figure, but a grandmaster in his own right. Ip Man's reluctance. Ip Man has never been driven by ego. He's more concerned about his wife's health and maintaining peace. Yet he realizes that a direct confrontation might be the only way to resolve Cheung's growing hostility and to preserve the school's honor. The duel set up. They agree to meet in a private venue, typically portrayed as an abandoned rooftop, a cleared warehouse space, or a secluded martial arts hall. This keeps the fight away from large crowds and ensures a respectful, focused environment. The atmosphere. A few trusted students and mutual acquaintances gather. Their faces are tight with anticipation. The space is quiet, lit by overhead lamps casting stark shadows on the ground. The fighters, Cheung wears simple kung fu attire, posture coiled with ambition. His expression is determined, almost tense. Ip Man stands calmly, hands at chest level, wearing his signature black tunic. Though stoic, there's a flicker of concern for how this conflict will affect both men. 5. The fight begins. A signal is given, and both men spring into action. 1. Testing each other. Cheung initiates with rapid Wing Chun chain punches aimed at Ip Man's torso and head. Ip Man, unflustered, parries them with minimal movement, using subtle shifts of his arms and body. Their arms lock in classic Wing Chun trapping drills, each trying to sense the other's center of gravity. The metallic echo of footsteps and the soft thwap of forearms meeting fill the space too. Escalation. Cheung tries to force Ip Man onto the defensive by mixing in low sweeps, attempting to knock him off balance. Ip Man stays focused, absorbing the rhythms of Cheung's attacks. He counters with quick, precise strikes that keep Cheung from landing a clean blow. 3. Cheung's temporary upper hand. Spotting a brief opening, Cheung surges forward with a powerful palm strike, catching Ip Man in the chest. Ip Man staggers back, surprising onlookers who have rarely seen him pushed like this. For a moment, it looks like Cheung's aggressive approach might win the day. Some in the small audience gasp, others murmur in concern. 6. Ip Man's adaptatio. Rather than meeting force with force, Ip Man shifts his strategy, calm under pressure. Ip Man steadies his breathing, recenters himself, and returns to the fight with renewed composure. Reading Cheung's pattern. He notices Cheung overextends on certain strikes, leaning too far in. Each time Cheung attacks, he leaves a fractional gap in his own defense, redirecting momentum. Ip Man uses subtle Wing Chun techniques, redirection, trapping, and economy of motion to nullify Cheung's power. Little by little, he regains control. 7. The one-inch punch. Moment in Wing Chun mythology, the one-inch punch symbolizes the pinnacle of short-range power and efficiency. As the duel reaches its climax. 1. Positioning. Ip Man maneuvers so that he and Cheung are in extremely close quarters, arms nearly locked. Ip Man's fist hovers just an inch or two from Cheung's torso. No big wind-up, no telegraphed movement. Energy release. In a split second, Ip Man channels force from his stance, hips, and shoulder into a sharp, explosive burst. His fist snaps forward in a blink, transferring a shockwave of power directly into Cheung's chest. Impact. Cheung's body jolts as if struck by a far heavier blow. He stumbles backward, gasping for air, his eyes wide with disbelief. The watching students can hardly believe the concussive effect from such a short distance. 8. Cheung's defeat and reflection. Cheung, still winded, drops to his knees or falls back against a wall, struggling to regain his composure. The onlookers remain silent, absorbing the weight of what they've just witnessed. Ip Man's reaction. He does not follow up with more strikes. Instead, he stands in place, breathing steadily, embodying the Wing Chun ideal of controlling one's power. He extends a hand or offers a slight nod to Cheung, acknowledging him as a worthy rival despite the outcome. Cheung's realization. Staring up at Ip Man, Cheung sees that Wing Chun isn't about raw aggression. It's about mastery, discipline, and moral conduct. His defeat carries a bittersweet lesson. Being the best fighter means more than winning matches. It means living by the art's core values. Aftermath and Mora. In the quiet that follows, both men come away changed. Cheung's growth. Though bruised and humbled, he gains a deeper respect for Ip Man's philosophy. He may still harbor ambition, but he recognizes that true martial mastery goes beyond technique. It's a way of life. Ip Man's compassion. Concerned about Cheung's well-being, Ip Man calmly suggests he seek medical care or rest. His victory is not about bragging rights. It's about preserving the essence of Wing Chun for future generations, communities, reaction. Word spreads quickly among Hong Kong's martial arts circles. Ip Man's one-inch punch triumph cements his status as the city's leading Wing Chun authority. But to Ip Man, it's simply another moment that tests his resolve to uphold humility, honor, and a love for the art. Power in simplicity. The one-inch punch captures Wing Chun's heart. Maximum effect through minimal movement. It's a reminder that true skill often appears effortless. Honor over ego. Ip Man demonstrates that the most respected fighters are those who show restraint and compassion, even in victory. Growth through challenge. Cheung's defeat is also his awakening. He learns that mastering the physical side of martial arts is only half the journey. Character and virtue complete it for family and priorities. Ip Man's constant concern for his wife's health underscores his priorities. He never allows ambition or rivalry to overshadow his responsibility as a husband and father. This longer retelling expands on the character's motivations, emotional stakes, and the philosophy underpinning the one-inch punch scene in Ip Man 3. It's a pivotal moment that illustrates how discipline, humility, and technical precision define a true Wing Chun master, and how victory is about more than just defeating an opponent.